Welcome to Practical Learning. This is the summary of the play Eastward Ho by Ben Jonson, but please like the video and subscribe the channel. This play begins in the busy city of London during the early 1600s. A goldsmith named Touchstone lives there with his family and apprentices. Touchstone is a serious and hard-working man who cares deeply about honesty and good behavior. His shop in Cheapside is well known, and people respect him for his fair dealing. However, not all in his household share his strong values. Touchstone has 2 daughters and 2 apprentices, and their personalities are very different. His elder daughter, Gertrude, is proud and always wants to appear rich and fashionable. She dreams of marrying someone important to raise her own social status. By contrast, his younger daughter, Mildred, is humble, kind, and gentle, with no interest in grand wealth or position. Among the apprentices, there is a great contrast as well. Francis Quicksilver is wild, careless, and always wasting money on drinking and pleasure. He has little respect for hard work. Touchstone's other apprentice, Golding, is the opposite. Golding is honest, hard-working, and respectful, earning his master's admiration and trust. One day, Gertrude becomes engaged to a newly titled knight named Sir Petronel Flash. Sir Petronel carries a title and behaves proudly, but he is actually poor and in debt. Gertrude sees only the idea of being married to a knight and believes this will make her life grand. Touchstone reluctantly agrees to the match, hoping that marriage might calm her pride. After the wedding, Touchstone encourages Golding to marry Mildred. He praises Golding's steady character and sees a worthy future for his humble daughter. This happy match represents honesty and hard work, the values Touchstone holds dear. Mildred accepts Golding's love with grace and simplicity. Meanwhile, Quicksilver's lifestyle leads to trouble. Touchstone grows tired of his apprentice's laziness, drunkenness, and refusal to work. He decides to dismiss Quicksilver from his apprenticeship and sends him away. Quicksilver does not care. He mocks Touchstone and tells everyone he is free to live as he wishes.
Quicksilver meets an old usurer named Security, a man who lends money but also behaves badly in his personal life. Security's young wife, Winifred, is beautiful and unfaithful. Quicksilver and Security begin to make plans to climb the social ladder quickly, by any means, even dishonest ones. Sir Petronel Flash, now Gertrude's husband, finds that he cannot satisfy her expensive tastes. He admits that he has no real wealth or land, despite his title. To escape his debts and his wife's demands, he decides to sail to Virginia, a distant land believed to hold riches. Quicksilver persuades him to use Gertrude's dowry money for the voyage. The plans become more complicated when Quicksilver and Petronel involve Security and his wife. They trick Security into thinking they are going on an adventure, but their real plan is to take Winifred along as a companion. Quicksilver disguises her so her identity remains hidden, and they set sail with dreams of gold and freedom. The group boards a ship under Captain Seagull, who is in charge of the voyage. Quicksilver, Petronel, Winifred, and several others begin to celebrate and drink, convinced that Virginia will make them rich. But the sea is unpredictable, and a violent storm soon strikes their ship. In the chaos of the storm, the travelers are separated. Security, who had not sailed properly and was not with the main party, ends up washed ashore at a place called Cuckold's Haven. There, he stays at a tavern and believes he has been betrayed by his wife, whom he thinks escaped with Petronel. Quicksilver and Petronel also end up shipwrecked, battered and disoriented. They find themselves on the Isle of Dogs, a stretch of land near the river. Quicksilver, always trying to find easy wealth, suggests they make counterfeit money to survive. Petronel, shocked by their downfall, laments their poor decisions. Back in London, Golding is doing well. His good character has earned him a respected position as a deputy alderman. News comes that the shipwrecked voyagers have been arrested at Billingsgate for their troubles and for causing problems in the community. Golding reports this to Touchstone.
Gertrude, having lost her dowry and ship, finds herself in a difficult situation. She begins to regret her choices, especially her pride in marrying a handsome knight. Mistress Touchstone, her mother, encourages her daughter to seek help from Mildred and Golding, who have remained steady and kind throughout the misadventures. In the authorities' presence, Petronelle and Quicksilver face the consequences of their actions. They admit to dishonesty, trickery, and theft. Touchstone, outraged at first, expresses no mercy. He cannot believe the devastation caused by their schemes. Quicksilver, however, begins to show genuine repentance. He sings a song about his mistakes, confessing his wrongs and expressing sincere regret. His change in character surprises Touchstone, who begins to feel sympathy for the young apprentice he once dismissed. Moved by this repentance and encouraged by Golding's support, Touchstone decides to show mercy. He pays the debts the men owe, securing their release from prison. Quicksilver is reinstated as Touchstone's apprentice, and Petronelle is forgiven and welcomed back into the family. Gertrude and Petronelle are reconciled, showing that forgiveness and family support can heal even great mistakes. Security, too, who had been separated from his wife, is pardoned. Although he still laments his loss and the confusion about Winifred, he is released with the others, highlighting how even those with flaws can be forgiven in the end. Seeing all the reconciliation and mercy in the community, the characters meet again with a sense of unity. Touchstone, who had acted sternly and fairly, now embraces forgiveness and compassion. Golding and Mildred remain happily married, their honest and steady relationship serving as an example to others. Gertrude, once haughty and self-centered, has learned humility. Her reconciliation with her father and husband shows her growth. Quicksilver, who once wasted his time in vice, has chosen a better path through repentance and service.
The play ends with harmonious relationships restored and characters aware of their own weaknesses. Though the journey was filled with folly, pride, deception, and chaos, it also leads to mercy, forgiveness, and unity. London's busy streets return to their usual rhythm as the community celebrates the moral restoration of those who had once strayed. I hope you have enjoyed this play, but please like the video and subscribe the channel. Thank you.